Hey guys, what's up? Today I'm doing something a little bit different, but you guys requested this. Actually, a lot of you requested this when I told you on Instagram that I was going away for a 2-week vacation. I went to Ireland and Portugal. It was amazing. I'm really sad to be back. But I also missed you guys. You may have noticed the huge gap in my uploading schedule. That was because I was away on vacation and I did not want to work while I was away because I haven't gone in an international trip in 3 years. So I just wanted to enjoy it, and enjoy it I did. So today what I'm going to be showing you guys is what I packed for my trip. I kind of promised this before I left for the trip. I was going to pack and film the process while I was packing, but I simply did not have time. I had to do so many things before I left for the trip that I just didn't have time. But thankfully, in this case, I'm a little bit lazy and I'm a little bit of a procrastinator. And when I say a little bit, I mean a lot. And so I haven't unpacked yet. So I can show you exactly what I packed. And I think it's actually a little bit better this way because I'll be able to tell you exactly what I used, what I could have left at home, if there was anything that I wish I had packed, etc. So this will be a very chatty video. If you're into those, then stay tuned. If not, I apologize. And I assure you that my regular makeup content will be coming soon. So before I begin, please don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. So as I mentioned, I went away for 2 weeks and I wanted to be prepared for every occasion, every situation, but I tried to pack minimally. I tried to pack the least amount of things as possible so that I could have the chance to buy things while I was away on vacation and not overfill my suitcase. So what I packed for makeup was this one bag. It's a pretty large bag, and I also packed this Ziploc because I carried all of this in my carry-on. So I have my Ziploc for all my liquids and creams, and then I have a little brush kit. So why did I carry all this in my carry-on? First of all, I don't want anything to be damaged or to be lost. God forbid my suitcase got lost in the trip. I didn't want to be stranded without any makeup. So I always try to bring makeup with me in my carry-on. I also know how rough they can be handling suitcases, so I don't want anything to get damaged. This stuff costs a lot of money, as you guys know. So I think I'm going to start off with the Ziploc bag. Initially, I packed it in a much larger Ziploc bag, but in the Dublin airport, they made me switch to this one because apparently this is the limit that you're allowed to take in carry-on. Everything has to be able to fit in this little Ziploc with it closed. So I knew that I wanted to be pretty minimal with my makeup throughout the trip. I was basically just going to hang out with friends and family. I just wanted to look cute in pictures because we did take a lot of those, but I wanted something light for my skin because I was planning on taking pictures every day and video. There will be a vlog coming, or actually several vlogs. So I opted for a BB cream, and I chose the Pure Lee's BB cream because it has a beautiful, beautiful finish, and it also has SPF in it. And I know how this product wears, so I didn't want to bring anything that I wasn't too sure about. One thing that also happens when you're traveling is your skin can change. And by that I mean if you have dry skin, your skin can all of a sudden be super oily or vice versa. It all depends on the climate. And that was the case for me. My skin was constantly oily the entire time we were away. For that reason, I didn't take the Milk Makeup Sunshine Skin Tint, which is what I typically wear on a day-to-day basis. But because it is oil-based and I didn't want to risk my skin being overloaded with oil, I chose something different. So I went with a BB cream, but I also packed a heavier foundation just in case I wanted a little bit more coverage. And what I actually ended up doing was using this foundation as concealer a lot of the time. And that's actually a trick I picked up from my friend Cece, who you may know from the video we just did together where I transformed her into me. That was a really fun video. If you haven't watched it yet, I really recommend it. It's long, but it's really, really funny. And I took 2 colors because I was afraid that this one would be a little bit too dark for me. So I just took 2. Ideally, I would have taken 1 to save on space, but I took 2. I don't know that I actually used the lighter one. I don't think I did. So I could have probably done without this one, but I took it just in case. Then for concealer, I took my trustworthy yellow color corrector. I don't go anywhere without this, you guys already know. And I took my Milk Makeup concealers and the Becca concealer. And this was actually a bit of a risk because this concealer I'm not too familiar with. I used it a couple times and I thought it was a little bit weird because it's sticky. It doesn't really set dry, but I don't know why I took it. I think it's because the color matches me really well right now, but I did take my trusty Milk Makeup concealers, again in 2 colors. This is my overall concealer, this is my under eye concealer, and I'm actually really glad that I took this one because I had some really intense flare-ups. I had some breakouts during the trip, and these concealers just weren't really sticking right to the breakouts, and this one worked like a charm, so I'm really glad that I took this one. Even though it was a risk and it goes against my rule of don't take any product that you don't really know. But sometimes you just gotta take risks. And speaking of taking risks, I took a product that I'm still figuring out how to use it. This is the Danessa Myricks Color Fix Magic Set and Seal. This is a mixing medium, but it's also a sealer. And I basically took this so that I'd be able to seal my color corrector in before applying the rest of my face makeup so that it would last all day and I'd be pretty much flawless all day. I'm still figuring out how to work with this product, and I took it for that purpose so that I could play around with it a little bit more. This product is something that has so many uses, but I feel like there is a bit of a learning curve with it, especially when it comes to using it with something like a color corrector. So I did actually use this during the trip. I did have some trouble with it, but it was good. It was a good learning experience for me, and I took it because it doesn't take up that much space. So then the rest in here is pretty much skin prep and skincare. I took my Dermalogica Prisma Protect Light Activated Skin Defense. This is their new Broad Spectrum 30 SPF sunscreen, and I love this so much. I'm so happy to finally have a sunscreen that doesn't break me out. It doesn't give my skin any issues. I really love this stuff. And as everyone knows, the SPF that's in your makeup isn't enough to actually protect you, so I always try to double up on SPF. So every morning I would wash my face and I'd put this guy on. Then I also took my primerizer. This is my go-to primer. I use this on my dry areas, and I also took a little travel size version of the Milk Makeup Blur Stick, which is this guy but tiny, because this is the combo that I usually do. I use this guy on my T-zone and this guy on my dry areas, but I ended up giving away my blur stick to my friend because she wanted to try it out, and then it ended up that I was super oily for the rest of the trip and I didn't have a mattifying primer, so I kind of regret that. I don't regret giving it to her, but I do regret not bringing another mattifying primer with me. But now I know. But yeah, my forehead was just like a wall of grease the entire time we were there, especially in Portugal. I would have to blot my face throughout the day a million times a day, and I feel like this guy would have helped. Then I made sure to have with me at all times the Tatcha Indigo Soothing Hand Cream. I've never needed hand cream before until a few weeks before the trip. All of a sudden my hands started getting really dry, and I had this and I started using it, and I really like it because it absorbs into the skin really fast. And that's the reason I don't use most hand creams and body lotions, is because I don't like the feeling of being sticky. I don't like that lotion feeling, but this stuff absorbs really quickly into the skin, so there's no kind of downtime when using it, and it was a bit of a lifesaver on this trip. Both Adam and I had pretty dry hands during the trip, and we both used this, and it was great. As I said, because you never know if you're going to be super dry, I took the Milk Makeup Kush Lip Glaze. I also took the Kush Lip Balm with me, but I ended up preferring this guy. It's way more hydrating. It's much more of a treatment for your lips. You can really slather it on thick if you need to. So yeah, this was a lifesaver. It kept my lips super hydrated the entire trip. Then last but not least is the Perry & Spirit Brush Cleaner. And I typically don't use brush cleaners. I typically just use alcohol, but for the trip, I didn't want to carry just alcohol with me, so I brought along a brush cleaner, and this one is really good, really effective. It's made with citrus-based spirits, so it smells like oranges, which I think is lovely. And the reason I brought a brush cleaner is because I brought a limited number of brushes with me, so I wanted to make sure I could clean them off to use them with various colors. And that brings me to my brushes. I have this little kit from Furless. The brushes in here aren't Furless brushes. I grabbed a variety of different brushes, but I really like how small this brush kit is, and it's also hard, so it protects my brushes. And they're kind of just thrown in here. Whoops. But there are like little slots for you to put the brushes. They don't all fit into the slots though. That's why a lot of them are loose. So I'll just hold on to them and show you. So I use my fingers to apply my foundation, so I didn't bring a beauty blender or a foundation brush. So I just basically brought one big powder brush. This is the Black Moon Cosmetics powder brush. And then 4 of these little powder brushes. I use these for setting under my eyes, for applying highlighter and bronzer, for being really precise with my application. I use these for highlighter and contour, for being really precise with my application. And I think I also used one for eyeshadow. That's why I brought 4 with me. I wanted to make sure I covered all my bases. I really, really like this brush shape. It's one of my favorites, so I brought all of them with me. Then for eyes, I brought 4 pencil brushes. I always use pencil brushes for my inner corner and for my lower lash line. So I wanted to make sure that I had enough that I didn't have to keep cleaning them constantly. So I wanted a couple for my inner corner and a couple for the rest. Then I took 2 kind of flat, really dense brushes so that I could pack on product onto the lid. I always try to bring at least 2 of one type of brush so that I could have one for light colors and one for dark colors when I don't want to clean them off constantly. I reuse brushes for different colors all the time, especially when traveling. Then what I packed the most of was fluffy brushes. It's always good to have a variety of shapes and sizes, like bigger ones like this to blend everything out, and smaller ones to do really precise applications like in the crease or along the lash line. So I just brought a variety with me. These 2 are actually from 2 of the palettes that I brought with me. They ended up in the brush roll instead of back in the palettes, but the rest is just a variety that I picked out that I thought was diverse enough. Then I brought 2 lip brushes. As I said, I always try to have 2 of each type. And these are also slightly different in shape, so that gives me options. And then 1 eyebrow brush because I only need 1 of these guys. And this is my go-to, my little trustworthy dude. It is the Essence Precise Eyeliner Brush, I think it's called. The name's rubbed off on here, but I think that's what it's called. So now onto the actual makeup bag, and it looks a little something like this. Most of the space is being taken up by a makeup eraser. I wanted to make sure to bring one of these with me because I have tried to stop using cotton rounds when I remove my eye makeup, so I use this instead. I use this as a cotton substitute. I just pour some makeup remover onto this. I know that the way they advertise this is you're meant to wet this just with water and take off your makeup, but I find that for you to take your makeup off with just water using one of these, you have to tug a lot at your eyes, and that causes wrinkles, and I really don't want to have premature aging. So instead, I use this as a cotton substitute, and I put the makeup remover on this and use it to remove my makeup, and it works wonders. For eyeshadow palettes, I took 5, but they're all pretty tiny. Most of them are tiny, except for this guy, which is the Black Moon Orb of Light palette. Usually when I travel, I try to just pack my Smashbox palettes because they are so compact, and they have a lot of colors in each one considering their size. But right before the trip, I got some Dose of Colors palettes, and they are also pretty compact. They have much less colors in them, but they were new and exciting, and I really wanted to bring them. These are the 2 I brought. I brought the Blushing Berries and the Sassy Siennas. These are all the colors that I'm super in love with at the moment, and they complement all the other palettes really well. And you'll see that all the palettes complement each other really well. That was my objective. I wanted to bring things that I could use with each other. The next one that I took that is also really compact is the e.l.f. and Jkissa palette. I love this palette so much. I brought this in case I wanted a pop of color, and because these colors complement the other palettes really well, and because my go-to lazy day makeup look is just this all over the lid, and that's it, and I'm good to go. And this palette also has a face highlighter, which allows me to not bring any additional products, so that's always great. If you can bring a palette that kind of has everything you need, that's awesome. But this one is really compact, and I'm really glad I brought it with me on the trip. I use this a lot. Then next up is the Smashbox Cover Shot Matte Eye Palette. This is kind of my go-to palette. If I can only grab one and go, this is it. I can do really classic and simple looks with this that I know are going to look really nice. So this is kind of my palette for when I want to look pretty. I just want to do something simple, something nice. Also something that goes with absolutely anything that I choose to wear. That's another really important point. You have to choose your eyeshadows according to your wardrobe. And the wardrobe I packed was pretty minimal. Every piece that I packed worked really well with other pieces, so I didn't think about outfits. I thought about combinations and the most combinations that I could get out of of a piece of clothing. And I kind of did the same with my eyeshadows. So this is a palette that works with absolutely anything that I'm going to wear, and it's just nice to have because it's all mattes. Actually, I think all of my palettes are all mattes. I don't know if you've noticed, but I kind of don't really like shimmer. Unless it's glitter, unless it's highlighter. But for eyeshadows, I love mattes. And that brings me to the Orb of Light palette. This guy's pretty big, but I did get a lot of use out of it. I actually use this eyeshadow as powder to set my under eye and my eye area, and it works really, really well, especially when I needed a little bit of extra coverage under my eyes. If my circles were a little too deep that day, I used this guy instead of powder or sometimes over the powder, and I just packed it on. It was great. And these colors as well work really well with the other palettes. They're neutral. They work really well with the wardrobe that I took. So even though this is a little bit bigger, I don't regret bringing this. So that's it for eyeshadow palettes. But I also brought another little palette with me, and this is one that I actually stole from my professional kit. This is all of my Milk makeup sticks depotted into this little palette. There's one little blank space. I'm missing a blush that's gonna go in there, a lip and cheek actually. But I brought this with me because I use these two absolutely every day. I use these two pretty much every day, and I use this highlighter a lot too. And so this entire palette is pretty much smaller than bringing 2 sticks because the sticks are so thick. It's just better to bring this entire palette, and I have all these color options. Now, if you're not a professional makeup artist, you probably don't need to do this unless you travel a lot. Then I would recommend doing something like this if you use a lot of cream products. Depotting into a palette can be a huge space saver. I mean, that's the reason we pro makeup artists do it, is to save up space. But yeah, this guy was amazing, and I'm actually thinking of making a little smaller version for myself for when I travel so that I don't have to include the stuff that I don't really use, like the glitter sticks. So I might be doing that soon. We'll see. Speaking of cream products, I know that I had that entire Milk makeup palette with cream products, but I brought 4 additional ones by Rituel de Fille. I couldn't help myself. They're really compact, so they're fine space-wise. 2 of these are highlighters, 2 of these are blushes. For the highlighters, these are 2 brand new products, the Siren and The Sorcerer. They are limited edition, and at this point they're actually already sold out. I got them right before my trip, and I was really excited to play with them, so I brought them with me. And then they went on sale while I was on the trip and sold out while I was on the trip, but I got to play with them while I was there, so that was fun. I don't know if I actually used the Sorcerer. This is like a silvery one. I did use the Siren a lot, almost every day. It's a beautiful, beautiful highlighter. It's like a goldy pinky color that goes really, really well with my skin tone. Then for the blushes, I took Delirium and Lust. Delirium is my favorite blush / cream product of all time. You can use these on cheeks, lips, eyes, wherever you want, and this is just the perfect orange blush. I love orange anything, be it lips, eyeshadows, cheeks. It just works really, really well with my complexion and my undertone, and so this is just like the perfect blush for me. And then Lust is kind of like a nighttime blush for me. I like to wear this when I'm going out at night. It's a really dark blush that kind of adds to contour as well, so it makes my face look really snatched. So I knew I would be going out at night, so I wanted to bring this too. For powder, I took 2 powders. I took this one, which I use every single day. It's the Milk Makeup Translucent Powder in the color Light. And then this is the ColourPop No Filter Powder, and I use this basically to just set my eyelids to prepare it for eyeshadow. As much as I absolutely love the Milk Makeup Powder, I didn't expect to be so oily while I was over there, so I wish I had taken a more mattifying powder. This one has a very natural finish to the skin. It doesn't leave you completely matte. And so if I had known then what I know now, I probably would have taken something like the Hourglass powder, which is really, really mattifying. As you may notice, I have my eyebrows now, and I started growing them out before the trip. I stopped bleaching them, I stopped shaving the ends, and that's because as much as I love my bleached brows, whenever I look back on pictures of me with eyebrows, I think I look so much prettier, and I just wanted to feel pretty. Sometimes you just want to feel pretty, and so I wanted to have brows on this trip, and so that I could fill them in, I brought the NYX Cosmetics Micro Brow Pencil in the color Black, and the Milk Makeup Kush Brow Gel in the color Dutch. Now, the ends of my brows aren't completely grown back in yet, and I still have some blonde hairs in my brow. That's why I needed both of these, the pencil to fill in the ends, and I needed the brow gel to cover up the little blonde hairs. For eyeliners, I kept it simple. For my waterline, I took the Milk Makeup gel liners. I took the black one, the brown one, and the light skin colored one. And for a liquid liner, I took my Fenty Beauty Fly Liner. I think I maybe used these once. I didn't even use all of these gel liners. I'm not much of an eyeliner kind of girl, so that really is kind of a personal preference, but I took these just to be covered. As you can see, they don't take much space at all, so I just wanted to have them just in case. That was the same deal for eyelashes. I took 2 pairs of eyelashes, even though I never wear them on a day-to-day basis. I only wear them if I'm going to take pictures of a look. But I took my Eyelure Easy Elegance ones. These pretty much go with any look and they're not too much. I took these in case I wanted to wear them out at night for something. Didn't wear them. I also took these Huda Beauty ones because I had just gotten them in the mail and I wanted to try them out. Didn't try them out. So I kind of regret taking these, but I also liked having them just in case. Probably next time I'll just take one. And I took the House of Lashes glue because that's the glue I use at the moment. I really, really like it. So what did I do to my eyelashes? I brought mascara with me, and as you can see, I have pretty naturally long lashes, so I typically don't feel the need to wear fake lashes, so just mascara is enough. And for that, I brought with me the Milk Makeup Kush Mascara. This is my go-to day-to-day mascara. I like this because I'm actually wearing it right now on this eye. On this one, I'm testing out the waterproof one. I like it because it really makes a difference. It really makes my eyelashes look really big. I like the way it wears, and it also has a super easy cleanup. It comes off really easily with water. Some people might not like that. I actually like that for a day-to-day wear because it makes removal super easy. And then I also have the Hourglass Caution Mascara. This is my go-to mascara if I want really, really intense lashes. This one is good especially for the bottom lashes. It makes them super dark and super thick. And this is kind of like my nighttime mascara, and it's waterproof as well, so if I needed anything waterproof, I had this. I left on the trip before I had the Kush waterproof one, otherwise I would have taken that one with me too. Oh, I forgot, for my eyebrow, I also took the NYX eyeshadow in the color Raven. This is what I typically use to fill in my brows to get that super defined brow. I don't actually think I used it in this trip though. I just used the micro brow pencil and the brow gel. Oh, one thing I forgot I had taken with me is this NARS bronzer. It is in the color Laguna. Now, I've never purchased a NARS product. This actually came in my Sephora Play box. That's why it's also a little tiny version of it. I brought it with me to try it out. I had actually never used it, but it seemed good for contouring because it's a pretty cool tone color, and I brought it just in case I wanted a powder product instead of a cream one, and this one is tiny enough for traveling, so I thought it would be a good choice. Now the rest is lips, and I brought quite a selection with me, mostly Rituel de Fille products, but as you can see, they're all really skinny. They're not the size of a traditional lipstick tube, so I thought I could bring a bunch of these. As you can see, this is one lipstick tube from Huda Beauty, and it's the size of pretty much 4 of these Rituel de Fille ones. So I really like these guys in terms of saving space, but I brought options. This one is from ColourPop. It is a liquid to matte lipstick called Mama. It's a really intense dark orange that reads kind of red on the lips. Then I also have the liquid to matte lipstick Grim by Black Moon Cosmetics. This is a really neutral dark brown. I really, really like this guy. You guys know I really like orange lipsticks for my neutrals, and I like really dark lipsticks if I'm actually going to wear a lipstick. This Huda Beauty one, I had just gotten it in the mail. It is the color Masquerade. It's super, super dark. I had never used it. I brought it because I wanted to play with it. I think I used it once on the trip, and I didn't even use it as an actual lipstick. I used it kind of like a stain. I put a little bit and then blurred it out. The Fenty Beauty lipsticks are kind of like the Rituel de Fille ones in the sense that they're really small and space saving. So I brought Griselda with me, which is this dark burgundy color. I really, really love this. I don't think I actually used it on the trip though, but I don't regret bringing it because it's really tiny. I'd rather have something just in case. And then for all my Rituel de Fille ones, let me pop these lids off. I'm pretty sure I'm missing one. But anyway, I brought Narcissus with me because it is the perfect neutral. I love this for when I just want to kind of even out the color on my lips and just add a touch, like a hint of something. This is my go-to neutral lipstick now. Then I have Moonseed, and it's a kind of dark berry color. I use this in combination with the Milk Lip Glaze. I'd wear this just in the inside of my lips and blur it out. Then I also took Conjurer, which is like a brown. Then there's Fortune Teller, which is a brighter berry color. Moonseed is more purpley, this one is more red. And then I brought Ravenous because it's like a brick red color. So as you can see, they're all kind of similar, but also very different, but it's kind of in the same family, and they all really match the eyeshadows that I chose for the trip. And I thought that I had taken Bloodroot with me because I don't go anywhere without it. It's a really intense orange, but it isn't here, and I don't actually remember if I wore it on the trip or not. So I don't know if I actually took it. To me, it's one of those things that it would be an obvious choice for me to take, but I don't know if I actually did. And that's it. That concludes what I packed for my makeup. Doesn't include skincare. My skincare is all in here. I'm not going to go through that because I do plan on doing a skincare routine video. But yeah, that's all the makeup I brought with me to Europe. As I said, I tried to keep my packing very minimal. I'm always changing the way I pack, and it always depends on the trip. I feel like with this trip, I learned a few little things, like the fact that my skin can get really, really oily when I'm in other countries. And I already knew that, but I didn't think it would get as oily as it actually did. So now I'll know to prepare a little bit better, and that's about it. I know this was a really chatty video, but a lot of you guys asked to see what I brought with me, so I hope you guys liked it. I hope that this helps you in some way to pack for your next trip. Maybe, who knows? Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much to all my patrons who support me, and I will see you next time. Bye!